Welcome back, everyone, to the Wisdom of Lao Tzu.
Great to be back. Today, we're plunging into a topic that feels incredibly relevant, almost uncomfortably so, in our modern world. Think about it. We live in what people are always calling an attention economy.
Right.
Whether it's your social media feed, your career path, or even, your personal relationships, there's this constant sort of low-level hum. This pressure, really, to showcase yourself, to prove your worth.
Yeah, to be seen, validated.
Exactly, to stand out in this, incredibly crowded space, both online and off.
It's a feeling that's just everywhere, isn't it? We're often caught in this loop, this relentless cycle where showing our value, proving we're capable, feels like the only way forward. You see it in careers, right? Colleagues pushing themselves into frantic overtime, crafting these, super elaborate, sometimes really over-the-top presentations, or just constantly tweaking their LinkedIn profiles. It's all an effort to prove they're indispensable, so they don't get overlooked.
But what's the cost? I mean, the real cost of chasing that all the time.
Well, it's exhaustion, isn't it? Like deep in your bones exhaustion. And creativity just dwindles.
Yeah.
And your authentic self, it kind of becomes a casualty in that whole grind.
Absolutely. And it's not just, it's not just the 9 to 5, is it?
Yeah.
In our personal lives, especially when we're trying to, improve ourselves.
Oh, yeah. Self-improvement.
We get bombarded.
Yeah.
Endless online courses, gurus, all that motivational hype, productivity hacks.
Each one promising to turn you into this, flawless, perfectly balanced, super optimized person.
Right. But the irony, the deep irony, is that in that mad rush to better ourselves, that simple inner peace, that quiet feeling of just being enough,
yeah, it just disappears.
it becomes this luxury you can't afford anymore. It's like we're always striving to be some ideal version that we're just not. And we lose ourselves doing it.
And that pressure definitely spills into relationships, too. Maybe even more intensely there. Well, we try so hard to please, don't we? Carefully crafting this perfect image, online or face-to-face. We're terrified of showing any flaw, any vulnerability. Curating our lives.
Exactly. Curating everything, conversations, emotions. It's a constant performance. And in that performance, that really precious thing, authenticity,
just evaporates.
it just vanishes. It's utterly exhausting trying to keep up that perfect front day after day.
It really is. And it feels like underneath all this trying too hard, there's this simple physical truth, right? Something our bodies know.
What's that?
Like when you stand on tiptoe to see further, you lose your balance. Instantly.
Right. Unstable.
Or when you take those huge, lunging, unnatural steps to walk faster, you're way more likely to stumble or just burn yourself out before you even get there. Our bodies are constantly whispering this wisdom, aren't they? Guiding us towards balance, sustainability.
Yet even though we know this physically, we seem to forget it or maybe just ignore it in so many other parts of our lives.
Yeah, why is that? We keep making the same mistake, I think. Mistaking these strained, unnatural efforts, the very things that make us wobble and fall for genuine advantages, for shortcuts to success or happiness.
It's a huge disconnect, a pattern that just keeps repeating itself.
Definitely.
So what does this mean for us? Well, it turns out our ancient guide, Lao Tzu, seems to have seen this whole backlash from trying too hard thing coming thousands of years ago.
In chapter 22 of the Tao Te Ching, yeah.
Exactly. He painted this picture of the enlightened sage, someone who doesn't show off, isn't self-righteous, doesn't boast, isn't arrogant.
Right. That deep, quiet humility, that's what lets them win without even competing, achieve without striving.
And in today's deep dive, we're looking at chapter 24. Lao Tzu comes back to those exact same 4 behaviors: showing off, self-righteousness, boasting, bragging.
But this time it's different, isn't it? He doesn't just say the sage avoids them.
No, he gives us this direct, almost shocking warning. It's incredibly visceral. He says anyone who does these things is like, get this, repulsive leftovers from a feast.
Or an unnecessary growth on the body, like a tumor.
Repulsive.
Yeah.
I mean, really think about that for a second. Why is the very self-promotion we take pride in the thing we're told we have to do to get ahead?
Yeah, in our modern world.
Why is it seen by the Tao, by these fundamental principles, as discarded scraps, as cancerous growths, things that, like every living creature, instinctively hates?
That's the core question, isn't it?
So our mission today is to follow Lao Tzu, the master diagnostician, as he gives us the most precise, unvarnished diagnosis for this ancient illness of the human heart: the relentless, self-defeating habit of trying too hard.
Let's unpack it.
Yeah, let's really get into it.
Okay. Before we dive into the deeper diagnosis, let's just quiet our minds for a moment and listen to the original text of this chapter. You'll notice Lao Tzu's wisdom almost always starts not with abstract philosophy, but with our most honest teacher, our own body.
Right. It's grounded in experience.
Exactly. He builds a foundation you can feel is true.
He who stands on tiptoe is not steady. He who strides cannot maintain the pace.
He who makes a show is not enlightened. He who is self-righteous is not respected. He who boasts achieves nothing. He who brags will not endure.
According to the followers of the Tao, these are extra food and unnecessary luggage. They are not in harmony with the Tao and therefore are to be avoided.
See how grounded that opening is? He who stands on tiptoe is not steady. He who strides cannot maintain the pace.
Yeah, it's so simple, but so true.
Standing on tiptoe, it's a quick attempt to be taller, right? Get a fleeting advantage, see over a crowd, reach something. Striding, taking those huge lunging steps to cover ground faster than you naturally would.
But, like he says, you can't stand firm on tiptoes for long. Your stability is gone.
Exactly, and you can't keep up those huge strides. It's just unsustainable by its very nature.
And you can actually feel this right now, can't you? If you just try it.
Go on, try it.
Stand up. Try standing on your tiptoes for as long as you can. You get that moment of height, sure, but you immediately lose all balance.
Wobble City.
Totally. And you might use a big stride to jump a puddle, but you could never run a marathon like that, or even walk down the block comfortably.
No way. It's physically draining, self-defeating.
What's really interesting, too, is that Confucius, the other great sage, actually agreed on this point, didn't he? Despite their differences.
He did. More haste makes less speed. It's a universal truth, rooted in how things just work. Confucius actually advised one of his disciples, Zixia, when he was an official.
What did he say?
He said, basically, don't try to get things done too quickly. Don't focus on small advantages. Because wanting speed prevents thoroughness, and chasing small gains stops big things from happening.
Same principle.
Exactly. And the genius of Lao Tzu here is he doesn't argue with complex logic. He just invites you to feel it, the immediate feedback from your own body.
Right, because once you accept that physical law, unnatural effort leads to instability, it's unsustainable.
Then he immediately, seamlessly extends it to our inner world, our spiritual world, showing the direct parallels.
And that's where it gets really deep. He who makes a show is not enlightened. He who is self-righteous is not respected. He who boasts achieves nothing. He who brags will not endure.
These four behaviors, they're the spiritual equivalent of tiptoeing and striding, aren't they?
Yeah, the internal postures of trying too hard.
Precisely. Someone eager to show off, who makes a show. Ironically, their inner light gets obscured by the very act of trying to display it. They are not enlightened. Someone always convinced they're right, who is self-righteous. They find others never truly accept or respect their correctness. They are not respected.
Right. People push back.
Someone who constantly boasts about what they've done. They find those accomplishments just fizzle out, amount to nothing in the long run. The boasting diminishes the value. They achieve nothing.
Okay.
And someone who's arrogant, who brags about their status or power, they're destined not to last. Their success will not endure.
What strikes me here, and it feels different from maybe some Western ethics, is that Lao Tzu isn't making a moral judgment. He's not saying pride is a sin, God will punish you.
Exactly. That's crucial. He's stating it like a law of physics, a cold, hard fact about reality. The state of pride, of excessive self-focus itself contains the mechanism for its own destruction.
It's like an internal flaw in the system.
Yeah.
Like a badly designed building that's just bound to collapse.
That's a great way to put it. It's inherently unstable.
And then to really hammer it home, he gives us that metaphor, the one for all these try-hard behaviors. It's so viscerally disgusting, but so precise.
Extra food and unnecessary luggage.
Extra food. When I hear that, I don't just think leftovers. I picture the greasy, half-eaten scraps after a huge feast.
Right. What was once desirable.
Yeah, it was fresh, delicious. But now, it's excessive, stale, repulsive garbage. Nobody wants it. It's just waste, decaying, becoming kind of noxious.
Precisely. And unnecessary luggage. You mentioned the original Chinese is even stronger.
Yeah, we're seeing these things. It suggests more like an unnecessary growth, a tumor even.
Wow. So not just something you don't need, but something actively harmful, useless, ugly, draining energy, threatening life itself.
Exactly. A pathology.
Yeah.
A disease growing inside.
You know, that makes me think of something totally modern. Bloatware on a new phone?
Oh, that's a perfect analogy. Tell me more.
You get this shiny new device, right? Powerful, sleek. but it comes crammed with all this software you never asked for.
Yeah, carrier apps, manufacturer stuff you can't delete.
Exactly. It hogs space, slows everything down, maybe spams you with notifications. It is literally the extra food and unnecessary luggage of the digital age.
So true. And what's the first thing a smart user does?
They try to uninstall it, disable it, get rid of it, restore the phone to its clean, efficient, natural state, make it run faster.
Right. You want the core functionality, not the junk.
And that's Lao Tzu's point. The Tao, the underlying principle of everything, instinctively hates this kind of bloatware in us. They are not in harmony with the Tao, and therefore are to be avoided.
The universe itself recoils from it.
Yeah. It sees these excessive artificial additions as things that detract from natural harmony. So someone who really gets the Tao, who wants to live in tune with it, they won't let themselves stay in that inflated state.
They proactively uninstall the spiritual bloatware.
Exactly. The showing off, the self-righteousness, the boasting, the bragging. They get that this stuff doesn't actually make them better or stronger or more enduring.
It just drains energy, makes them unsteady.
And ultimately stops them from going far or achieving real lasting success.
Okay, so we've got the literal meaning down, the visceral metaphors, the physical truths. Now it's time to put on our detective hats, right? Dig deeper.
Let's do it.
Lao Tzu gave us the symptoms, the warning. But what's the deep underlying pathology? What's driving these behaviors of trying too hard?
We need to investigate this anxious self.
Yeah, let's start with that foundation. Why are standing on tiptoe and striding these simple physical things, why are they the archetypes for all this unnatural self-defeating behavior? What makes them so fundamentally wrong to the Tao?
That's the perfect place to start our investigation. Those opening lines, he who stands on tiptoe is not steady, he who strides cannot maintain the pace. They seem simple, almost like folk wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for thinkers across centuries, they've been the key to unlocking the whole chapter. They represent that fundamental archetype of all unnatural, unsustainable states.
So how can we break that down?
We can look at it on, say, 4 deepening levels.
Yeah.
Moving from the purely objective physical stuff to the deep philosophical implications.
Okay, level 1, the physical, the objective law. How do tiptoeing and striding break nature's rules?
Physically, it's purely about that law.
Hmm.
Too much is as bad as not enough. Our bodies are honest. Standing on tiptoe, you try to be taller, get an edge, but you raise your center of gravity. Boom, instability. You can't hold it.
Right.
Striding those huge steps, you try to go faster, but you mess up your natural rhythm. You strain muscles, joints. You just can't go far without getting exhausted or hurt.
It's basic biomechanics.
Exactly. An inviolable law, like building something too fast. Cutting corners on the foundation, it will develop cracks. It's unstable. Several scholars point out it's basically the Taoist take on Confucius's more haste, less speed. A universal truth.
Makes sense? Violating natural efficiency. Okay, level 2. Psychology. Why do we do it?
Yeah.
If our bodies tell us it's bad, what's driving that internal straining?
Psychologically, it comes from what the Zen master Hanshin called the straining heart of trying too hard. It's driven by that competitive heart.
Always needing to be better than.
Yeah, always wanting to be a head taller, a step ahead. This constant anxious push to force a win, get an edge, makes people do these strained things that are just unnatural and doomed to fail because of it.
Mm-hmm.
The commentator Su Che pinned it on an even deeper cognitive error, thinking that something is not enough and adding artifice to it.
Meaning we think our natural state is lacking.
Exactly. We see just standing naturally as insufficient. So we feel we have to artificially add something, add tiptoes, add strides to make it better.
That dissatisfaction, that insecurity.
That's the source of all that gilding the lily stuff, trying to improve something already complete and ending up ruining it or losing what you had. In modern psychology, tiptoeing is a perfect metaphor for that never-satisfied, anxious self.
Yeah, the constant effort, the insecurity, the stress of trying to be someone you're not, always needing to prove.
Precisely.
Wow, that hits home. That feeling of needing to do more, be more, even if it costs us peace. Okay, level 3, philosophy. How does this tie into the bigger picture?
Philosophically, the great commentator Wang Bi really elevated this. He said the core of these trying too hard actions is that by valuing progress, one loses peace.
Peace, meaning harmony with the K.
Exactly. Not just calm, but that fundamental state of being aligned with nature, with the flow, inner balance. Progress, in this context, is the ego-driven tension, the striving against the flow.
So when life becomes all about forced progress instead of inner peace,
failure is already baked in, and Wang Fuzi added this crucial dimension of timing. He saw tiptoeing and striding as proving the more anxious the heart, the more opportunities are lost.
How so?
An anxious mind, one that's always forcing things, can't resonate with the universe's natural rhythm. It clings to the past, opportunities gone, or desperately reaches for a future that isn't here yet.
So it's out of sync, misaligned with the now.
Totally. And that misalignment, that inability to be present and respond naturally, is the root of failure, according to Wang Fuzi.
Anxiety about past and future throws us off the cosmic rhythm. Powerful stuff. This sounds like it has big implications for leaders, too, not just us individuals. Level 4, the political and social angle.
Definitely. The Han Dynasty commentator He Shengong read this as a direct warning to rulers. Tiptoeing, he said, is coveting power and fame, striving for merit and glory.
A ruler always chasing validation.
Yeah, trying to look bigger or more powerful than they are. They can't stand firm in governing, and striding means thinking oneself noble and striding over others, looking down on people, ignoring their needs.
What's the consequence for that ruler?
Shangong warned, the masses will collectively obscure him, preventing him from acting.
Collectively obscure him. How?
If a ruler is arrogant and self-serving, his ministers only report good news, hide the bad. Reality gets distorted. The people at the bottom feel ignored, so they engage in passive resistance, quietly undermining things.
So the ruler becomes isolated.
Yeah.
Out of touch.
Completely. His policies fail. He doesn't know what's really going on. It's this powerful, passive counterforce. Professor Chen Guying also notes that these frivolous and rash actions, tiptoeing, striding, are fundamentally anti-natural. Fleeting, unsustainable.
Like aggressive political campaigns, maybe.
Could be. Anything too fast, too forced, trying for quick gains, it violates that natural, organic way, and people often reject it.
Wow. Okay, that's a really thorough diagnosis. From a simple physical movement to psychology, philosophy, politics, even cosmic law, it all points to one thing. Any forced effort, any trying too hard that violates nature just backfires. Which brings us to our second big question. Why do those 4 specific types of self-inflation, showing off, self-righteousness, boasting, bragging, why are they so doomed? What's the built-in flaw in each one?
This is where Lao Tzu takes that physical logic of tiptoeing and striding and applies it straight to our inner lives. These 4 symptoms, in sequence, they really paint a clear picture of the psychological pathology of trying too hard.
Okay, let's break them down first. He who makes a show is not enlightened. Why does trying to be seen make you less visible, less enlightened? It sounds like a paradox.
It is, and that's the genius here. The act of showing off is like a blinding glare. It paradoxically hides the very thing you want people to see. Remember that story from Zhuangzi?
Right.
The 2 concubines. One was beautiful and flaunted it constantly. Over time, people stopped seeing her beauty. It just became a tiresome performance.
And the other?
The plain one knew she was plain, was humble, unassuming. Over time, people stopped noticing her plainness because her real character, her inner light, shone through. She became genuinely respected.
So what's the obscuring object? What gets in the way?
It's that eager self-consciousness, that anxious need to impress, to perform. It becomes noise. It shifts attention from your actual talent, the signal, to your off-putting posture, the static.
Right.
The Zen master Hanshin called it parading one's own views, rooted in that competitive heart always needing to be better. That just locks you into your own narrow view, keeps you dark and unenlightened about the bigger picture, the Tao.
It's like adding legs to a snake painting.
Right.
Trying to improve something complete and making it worse.
Exactly. True enlightenment is just the natural state. You just need to drop the ego, the artifice, and it shines through. So the insight is true inner light isn't about proving it, but about removing the ego shadows that hide it. Let natural virtue shine, don't force it.
Trying too hard to be seen makes you less visible.
Yeah.
Powerful. Okay, next. He who is self-righteous is not respected. Why does being totally convinced you're right stop you from being heard or recognized?
The problem starts when being right stops being a natural expression and becomes a rigid position you have to defend no matter what.
Like in a meeting, the person who has to win the argument.
Exactly. Su Che saw it as thinking your own reasoning isn't enough by itself, so you have to artificially add stubbornness, insistence, and unwillingness to listen, which of course backfires. Wang Fuzi took it further. The more one insists on being right, the more wrong one becomes.
Why?
Because by clinging rigidly to your own view, you fall into clinging to a partial view. You mistake your one-sided truth for the whole complex reality.
So you close yourself off.
Completely. You tie yourself to absolute correctness and shut the door to broader truth, new perspectives, learning from others. Your correctness becomes this self-admiring prejudice. It repels people instead of attracting them. And as Lao Tzu says, that just can't be truly respected. People respect humility, open-mindedness, way more than rigid certainty.
It's like building a wall around your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Cuts you off, diminishes you. Okay, he who boasts achieves nothing. This feels like that weird quantum effect of the achievement just vanishes when you talk about it.
It really feels like that, doesn't it? The value seems to just collapse when it's excessively claimed as your own. He, Shanggong, put it bluntly. The moment one boasts and takes credit, one loses the merit.
Wow.
The act of boasting itself changes the deed. It stops being a contribution, a benefit to others, and becomes just self-serving ego inflation. It's not about the deed anymore, it's about the boaster.
Mm-hmm.
Tzu, with his addition logic, said boasting is thinking the accomplishment isn't enough, so you add bragging, which ironically just diminishes it.
And one fusey.
He called it clinging to leftovers.
Ooh, I like that. Sticking to the past.
Yeah, clinging to things already done instead of moving on. Chewing on past achievements like leftovers, it's stagnation.
Right.
And behind it, extreme egocentrism. Seeing only your own part, ignoring the world, other people's contributions, luck, everything else that made it possible.
So both the accomplishment and the ego shrink.
Exactly. They become small, insignificant.
Clinging to leftovers. Powerful image. Okay, finally. He who brags will not endure. Why is arrogance the fast track to collapse?
It's almost a law of nature, isn't it? Arrogance is the enemy of stability. Tzu's analysis fits again. Arrogance is thinking your position isn't enough, so you add this posture of self-importance, invincibility.
And that additive is the poison.
Precisely. It corrodes from within. Arrogance narrows your vision. You become deaf to criticism, blind to threats, cut off from reality.
Complacent.
Totally complacent, convinced of your own superiority, unable to adapt or learn. And crucially, arrogance pushes people away. You lose support allies, subordinates, the public. People just naturally withdraw.
It's like pouring acid on the roots of a tree.
Perfect analogy. Slowly dissolving from within all the things that could have helped it endure. So again, Lao Tzu isn't being moralistic. It's a cold, factual statement. Arrogance has a built-in self-destruct program. An internal, inevitable collapse. No external punishment needed.
Okay, we've broken down these self-defeating behaviors from physical roots to psychological drivers. But what's the ultimate judgment from the Tao? And how do we avoid this? We heard that phrase, extra food and unnecessary luggage. How can good things, talent, achievement, being right become so contemptible?
Critical question. And Professor Chen Gang's research here is key. Remember, the original text might be better translated as unnecessary growth, like a wart, a tumor.
Right, not just luggage, but a pathological form, an overgrowth on your being, a disease.
Exactly. It's not just a mistake. It's a disfigurement that drains you.
So how does this awful transformation happen? From something good, like a feast or a healthy body, to repulsive leftovers or a diseased tumor in the Tao's view?
Well, there are some fascinating interpretations. He Longgong, for instance, gave it that bold political reading. Extra food and unnecessary luggage were the corrupt acts of greedy officials levying extra taxes and salaries.
So their greed becomes the state's burden, its tumor.
Precisely, making the state sick. Wang Bi offered the deep philosophical logic. Though the origin is beautiful, it can be made foul.
Meaning the original thing, talent, accomplishment is good.
Inherently beautiful, yes, but through wrong handling, excessive behavior, inflated ego, it becomes disgusting. Like a grand feast turning into foul-smelling garbage. An accomplishment is beautiful, but constantly boasting about it is like a corrupting agent that spoils its value.
Gilding the lily until it rots.
Yeah.
Destroying the thing you're trying to enhance.
Exactly. Tzu's analogy is more like a daily health warning, so relatable. Stop when you are full, any more is sickness.
Like eating too much.
Yeah. Eating enough is healthy. One bite too many is indulgence, turns into disease, indigestion. The food isn't bad, the excess is bad. An accomplishment is fine, but keep bringing it up, forcing it on people after it's done. It's like forcing down 10 more bowls of rice when you're already stuffed.
Oh, yeah. Makes you sick, makes everyone uncomfortable.
We all know that feeling, and Ukiyo gives it the strongest sensory hit. He just calls it kitchen slop.
Wow, just pure revulsion.
He wants to use that feeling to destroy any positive vibe we might have for self-promotion. He wants us to get that in the Tao's eyes, this isn't subjective preference, it's objective filth, pathology. From politics to philosophy to health to just yuck. It's an escalating epic of ugliness, showing that any gilding the lily, any unnatural addition, any trying too hard is basically a
Okay,
disease.
the disease is diagnosed, the harsh judgment passed. Where's the cure? How do we fix this deep human tendency? What's the Taoist healing path?
This is where Taoism really diverges from, say, many Western traditions. There's a great paper comparing them. It points out that in the West, things like Greek hubris or Christian pride are often seen as vertical sins.
Vertical, meaning?
A mortal down below offends a deity or higher law up above. Result, external punishment from heaven from authority. It's about disobedience.
Break a rule, get punished from above,
Yeah.
external judgment.
Right, but Lao Tzu's logic is totally different. It's a horizontal imbalance. The person on tiptoe didn't offend a god, they just violated the laws of physics, of balance.
Yeah.
Their fall isn't punishment, it's the internal inevitable collapse of the act itself. It's about dysfunction, violating natural mechanics, leading to breakdown.
That's a huge difference.
Absolutely crucial, because it means healing isn't about repenting to heaven or seeking external forgiveness. It's about calibrating ourselves to nature, to the Tao's balance and flow. We don't need salvation. We need self-correction, retuning to our natural state.
So the solution is internal, understanding natural laws, not external moralizing. How specifically do we self-correct? How do we calibrate?
One interpreter puts it beautifully. The cure for egocentrism is expanding your vision from the tiny, anxious self to the vast, boundless world.
Shifting focus outward.
Yes. The cure isn't adding more self-improvement, but cultivating profound gratitude and awe for the entire world. When you truly realize the self is just one wave in this immense ocean of existence and feel sincere gratitude for the whole ocean supporting you.
Then the showing off, the self-righteousness, the boasting.
Yes, just melt away like ice in the sun. They lose their meaning, their necessity. And in that melting, we return to that stable, enduring, effortless, natural state, perfect harmony with the Tao.
Okay, we've done the deep intellectual dive.
Yeah.
From body physics to psyche to the Tao's ultimate judgment. We've diagnosed trying too hard, not as a moral failing, but as this internal imbalance, this pathology leading to self-destruction. Theory is sharp, illuminating, but maybe it's on the grand stage of real life, through actual human stories, that we see it most clearly. How these symptoms play out and destroy people.
Time to move from the abstract to the vivid theater of history.
Exactly. Where tragedies with real people provide the most searing footnotes to Lao Tzu's diagnosis.
Let's start with a timeless archetype. A story echoing from ancient Rome to modern conflicts, proving that he who boasts achieves nothing. The general who won the war but lost the peace.
Okay, paint the picture. Brilliant general, military genius. Saves his nation through sheer strategy, courage, leadership, total victory, hailed as a savior. Accomplishment is real, huge, undeniable, a true hero. But what goes wrong? What slowly undoes him?
Tragically, the victory itself becomes the problem. Back home, instead of letting his deeds speak, he can't stop reminding everyone how great he is.
Oh.
In the Senate, he replays his triumphs constantly, interrupts others to win arguments using his war record. At banquets, he holds court, retelling stories of his genius, his bravery, often embellishing.
So the victory becomes his personal property, not the nation's.
Exactly. A medal he polishes constantly, demands others admire. That's the essence of he who boasts. The real accomplishment gets canceled out by the boasting, alienating people.
And then it gets worse. The boasting turns into something else.
Almost inevitably. His self-regard swells until he's convinced he's right about everything. Because he was right on the battlefield, he thinks he's right about statecraft, economics, policy, everything.
Dismisses advice. Scoffs at concerns.
Yes. Believes his past success makes him infallible, no longer open to new info or different views. That's he who is self-righteous, a blinding conviction of correctness.
So his greatest asset, his victory, becomes the catalyst for his downfall. It truly becomes extra food and unnecessary luggage.
Precisely. It makes him insufferably arrogant, dangerously inflexible. The boasting turns allies into rivals, tired of his ego. The self-righteousness turns public adoration into resentment and distrust.
People see him as a burden now, not a hero.
Yeah, a threat to the very peace he won. Eventually, through politics, loss of support, maybe rebellion, he's stripped of power, isolated, cast aside. His great accomplishment achieves nothing in the end because the man himself became that unnecessary luggage, that pathological growth the country couldn't carry anymore.
Wow. A powerful, tragic example. But if that general story confirms one part of the chapter, maybe Napoleon Bonaparte illustrates the entire negative template. like living proof of chapter 24.
Napoleon's life is almost a perfect case study for he who stands on tiptoe is not steady. He who strides cannot maintain the pace.
His rise was so fast, so audacious.
Exactly. From the chaos of the revolution, it was this dizzying series of political strides and tiptoeing. The coup, crowning himself emperor, the relentless campaigns, each leap gained power, but rested on an ever more unstable foundation of conquest and intrigue.
Always pushing past limits, never on solid ground.
Pretty much his whole early career was on tiptoe. He couldn't sustain the pace he set.
And he definitely embodied, he who boasts achieves nothing. He who brags will not endure. His ego was legendary.
Oh, undeniably. Brilliant strategist, yes, but his own biggest admirer. Lost perspective. After becoming emperor, it was constant, grand-scale self-promotion. Paintings, statues, architecture, glorifying his reign, crafting his own myth.
Boasting about destiny, invincibility.
Incessantly. And that pride, that bragging, made him deaf. Deaf to caution, to advisors, to reality. He thought he could conquer all of Europe.
Leading to
Russia. The catastrophic invasion of Russia in 1812, the ultimate stride that couldn't be maintained. Arrogance blinded him to the vast distances, the stretched supply lines, the brutal winter, the Russian resilience.
and the final irony.
Yeah.
His exile on St. Helena. Such a poignant image.
It's the most poignant scene, really. The man who strode the world confined to a tiny rock in the South Atlantic, just 47 square miles.
The emperor who made such a show, now unseen.
Exactly. Commanding armies and nations, now isolated. His boasts just hollow echoes, recounted to a few loyalists and guards. His boasts achieved ruin. His bragging prevented endurance. His whole life, in its tragic grandeur, proves Lao Tzu's point. Immense talent without humility, without connection to the Tao of natural limits.
No matter how high you stand on tiptoe.
You're destined for a great fall. Your inflated self becomes a burden that consumes you.
History reflects these tragedies so vividly, stark warnings echoing through time. But Lao Tzu's wisdom isn't just for judging history, is it? It's for us. To reflect on ourselves, apply it now.
Absolutely.
So having seen the symptoms, explored the pathology, witnessed the case studies, what's the cure we can personally apply? Right here, right now. How do we make this ancient wisdom actionable?
Okay, this is where we shift from theory to tangible action. Here's a kind of mindfulness experiment you can try starting this week. It comes straight from Lao Tzu's extra food and unnecessary luggage insight. Let's call it the unpack your bag exercise.
The unpack your bag exercise. I like it already. Sounds doable. What's the core principle?
It's simple but deep, straight from Lao Tzu. Those deliberate acts of showing off, being self-righteous, boasting, bragging, they're like extra food and unnecessary luggage. We often feel we have to stand on tiptoe in our work or conversations to seem taller, smarter, more impressive. We think it makes us more stable or successful.
But we learned he who stands on tiptoe is not steady.
Exactly. This bag is that subtle, often unconscious extra effort we add just to prove ourselves, look smarter, more thorough, more perfect, when it's not really needed.
So the exercise isn't about doing less. It's about removing unnecessary burdens.
Precisely. It's about consciously taking off one small, unnecessary load to feel that solid, stable ease, that true efficiency that comes from being natural, authentic, acting without force or ego. Smart subtraction.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? What are the practical steps?
All right, try this experiment this week. When you finish some work, you need to present maybe an important email, a report, a social media post, even planning a key conversation. Pause. Step 1, find the bag.
Okay, before hitting send or starting to talk.
Yep. Pause for a full minute. Look at your work or think about your planned words and ask yourself one sharp question. What part of this is my bag?
Meaning?
Which sentence, chart, argument, anecdote, even which word choice is mainly there just to make me look smarter, more thorough, more impressive, rather than truly serving the core message? Be really honest.
Could be a fancy but confusing sentence. Extra data. A story that's mostly about me.
Exactly. Find that one thing. Be specific. Then, step 2, be brave. Unpack one thing.
Just take it out.
Just take it out. Delete that convoluted sentence. Remove that extra data point that's just there to assure you covered everything, even if it distracts. Resist adding that comment just to show off your foresight. Just remove one thing. Start small. Build the habit. You're removing the bloatware, not gutting the work.
Okay. Identify one thing. Remove it. Then what? Step 3.
Step 3. Feel the lightness. Now look at the work again. Read the email, review the report, rethink the conversation without that bag item. Is it clearer, more concise, maybe even more powerful in its simplicity?
Check the impact.
And more importantly, check your own feeling.
Yeah.
Your heart, your internal state. When you've consciously unpacked that little burden, that bit of extra effort just to prove something, do you feel a bit lighter? Less internal strain?
A sense of liberation, maybe.
Exactly. That feeling of not needing external approval, that quiet confidence in your natural contribution, that's the opposite of he who strides cannot maintain the pace. It's the power of moving with your feet firmly on the ground. Stable, efficient, truly effective.
So this small unpacking exercise helps us feel firsthand the lightness and power of avoiding that extra food and unnecessary luggage. It helps us get viscerally that real strength isn't endless adding, but the right amount of subtracting. Shedding those unnecessary ego-driven layers. That feels like the core wisdom for us today.
You see, Lao Tzu used our most familiar teacher, our own body, to give us this profound lesson in naturalness. He made us feel directly that actions against our nature, first constrained, are like tiptoeing and striding.
They look like shortcuts, but they plant the seeds of imbalance, instability, collapse from the start.
As that opening maxim warns us, undeniably, he who stands on tiptoe is not steady. He who strides cannot maintain the pace.
Right.
So we've just been kind of held down by Lao Tzu, hasn't we? Brought back to earth, warned repeatedly, don't get inflated, recognize your smallness.
Yeah, it feels like a strong caution.
But here's where it gets really interesting, almost mind-bending. In the very next chapter, chapter 25, Lao Tzu's tone just shifts dramatically. Out of nowhere, he elevates humanity to this unprecedented, almost cosmic height.
How so?
He starts by describing this mysterious, chaotic, but complete existence before the universe began. Then he lists the four greatest things in the cosmos, the four greats.
They are.
The Tao, the ultimate principle, heaven, the vast sky, earth, our home, and then, unexpectedly, humanity.
Wow. Us. Humanity. Alongside Tao, heaven and earth.
You heard right. After all these chapters emphasizing weakness, humility, non-contention, the dangers of ego, why suddenly put us fragile, often misguided mortals on the same cosmic level?
Yeah, why call us one of the four greats? Is it some huge honor? Or is it like a massive responsibility we can't escape? It raises enormous questions about our place and everything.
Hasn't it? And just as we're reeling from that cosmic promotion, Lao Tzu throws out an even bigger puzzle, a real head-scratcher for centuries.
That is it.
He says. Humanity models itself on Earth, Earth models itself on heaven, heaven models itself on the Tao. Okay, it makes sense, a hierarchy, but then, what does the Tao, the ultimate source, the highest law, model itself on?
What does it model itself on?
Lao Tzu's answer, just two deceptively simple words. The Tao models itself on what is natural.
Natural. But if the Tao is already the mother of the universe, the highest law, what is this natural, this Ziran that even the Tao has to imitate, learn from, follow?
Could there be something even more ultimate, more profound, a reality beyond the Tao itself that we can barely even guess at?
Whoa. Okay, my head is spinning a little.
Join us next time. We're stepping into what feels like the true book of Genesis of the Tao Te Ching to try and unravel these two massive, enduring mysteries, why humanity is great, and the Tao models itself on what is natural.
You won't want to miss that one. Until then, keep digging deeper.